So what we're doing today is we come out to a field to show a couple things of what we like to do when we're setting up, when we scout for a field that we're going to hunt. If we're looking for a brush line, we'll try to find somewhere that's a little shaded for us. That way we can hide ourselves in the shade, put our decoys out in front of us.
Today we're sitting up against a green brush line, kind of sticker bushes, green grass, so we're gonna pick up as much stuff green as we can and brush our blinds with it. And also another thing is you don't want to pick all the brush, directly next to your blind. You want to help yourself stay hidden. So, I go as far as 20, 30 yards to go start picking brush, because you start picking stuff around you, you're taking all your camo and you're sticking it into one spot. So you want to blend in, not make bare spots next to you to cover yourself up. All right, in choosing to use a layout blind, first thing I do with my blinds, brand new out of the box, is I take it out to a field and stomp it in a mud puddle. Either that or I take as big clumps of mud and just wipe it down, get some of that sheen off of there, because it naturally is reflective. So before I put any grass or do any of that, that's completely mud it down. It'll help. And also, if I'm hunting in a potato field or a bare mud field, I won't even put brush on it. I would just completely mud the thing, make it the same color as the field you're in, obviously use the mud around you. If I'm sitting out in a green grass field, I'm using green grass. I'm not taking all the dead stuff. You want to match your natural vegetation.
One thing I really like to do, I'll strip my blind. A couple of my hunting buddies will make fun of me of this, but I strip my blind every hunt and rebrush it, because you get into a certain field and certain fields got different brush in it. So, we could be in a pea field over here, but come hunt a cornfield, so why would you want to brush your blind with, pea stubble when you're in a cornfield? Doesn't make sense. So once we get to our spot that we like, we pick where we can hide our blinds in a pretty good vegetation. We got enough around us that we can cover our blinds. Once we get our blinds covered, we like to start setting decoys. Once we've scouted a field, what we pay attention to while we're scouting is what species of birds we see there. So if we've been seeing strictly mallards in a field, we're not obviously going to set up pintail and widgeon, we're going to set up strictly mallards. A lot of time in fields around here in Washington State, we get a large mix of birds, mainly widgeon, pintail, mallard. So when we get into a field, we like to take the species that we have seen in there. So in this field in particular, we generally see a lot of widgeon and mallard. So when we choose to set up here, we choose to set up widgeon and mallards, because that's generally what we see. If you guys are out scouting, pay attention. If you've got multiple species of birds in there, your best bet is to bring a couple different species of decoys. That way you can present yourself as a real live flock of ducks down there and make yourself more appealing to the flight of birds coming in. In this field, the birds roost in a slough that is behind us about 100 yards. So when we choose to set up, you can kind of see we've got a U pattern here, and we've trailed off like they're leading up to the head of the group to feed. What this U pattern is going to tell them is that we've got good food here. You guys need to come in, you need to land here and eat here. The reason we did our U and pasted off 15 steps up that way is to get it off of the blinds, and also to bring our nose of the spread out a little bit. That way as the birds come in, since generally they come out of the slough, they make a big circle and then they come this way, what that'll tell them is that they need to get right here into this pocket, which will carry them right across the front of our blinds. So when we're setting up, we pay attention to what direction the wind's coming, what direction we've seen the birds coming from, and then we take all that into consideration when we set our decoy spreads.
All right, so what's going on here is we got a southeast wind coming in and our birds are coming from the north and they're making a pretty straight line. They've been pretty comfortable feeding in this spot. So we're choosing not to set a whole lot of decoys today because they're so comfortable in here. We don't need as much to entice them, I feel. We gave up a little bit of distance for our good brush line. Stu likes to pace off a good 30 steps, which is something he's done since he started. We're gonna use sort of a U-shaped pattern just to give them a good pocket to land in. Like I said, the birds are already comfortable here. We know what they're doing because of good scouting, paying attention to what your birds are doing before you go hunt. And hopefully we're successful.